Warriors won again. This time over the Suns. Clay goes for 33 in the first half. They had 5 in the second half. No one ever says that.
In a row.
5. 8 for 12 from 3, bro. Steph added 23 and said he loves, quote, a motivated Clay. Now, Nick thinks the Warriors are at 0% of his title pie. Sorry to give away the segment coming up at 4 o'clock.
0?
That's where they've been.
How confident are you in one of your several picks?
No, they were my preseason pick in the West. Actually, to win it all. To win it all. Brooklyn has disbanded, so they're off. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say they are, absolutely the clear-cut favorite in the West, the team to beat. But are they contenders? That's your question? Absolutely
not.
No. Nick, how in the world, in a wide-open West, first of all, just their experience, their basketball IQ, which I would argue as far as basketball IQ and experience is undeniable, they got the most in the West, easily. Sure. All right, no doubt as a team. And their main gun, Steph, is in his prime still. He's still a great player.
Yeah, and that's a testament to him. He's at 35, he shouldn't still be in his prime, especially at that size. But
he's playing as well as
no doubt about it.
And here's the other thing, Nick, Clay.
Yep.
Clay's in the calendar year of 2023. Now, I agree with you. I thought he was falling off because of the injuries.
Yeah, exactly.
He's averaged 25 points. He's shooting over 40% from 3 in this calendar year. And we saw what he did last night, as you mentioned.
Wild's always been a big calendar year guy anyway.
They have here's the thing. They're the best shooting team in the league.
Okay.
They take the most threes in the league. And in an NBA where shooting the 3 is more important than ever, you cannot write them off.
They should convince the league to add the 3-point line to the arenas other than Oracle.
That's fine. You can talk about that. I get it, the road record, and I want to see what they do in this 5-game road trip.
I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to lose a bunch of them. So can we just throw? So listen,
he believes in the Lakers.
I am not fickle. Well, the Lakers have played better than the Warriors over the last since the 2-10 start.
The Lakers don't have
it. The Lakers don't have it. Yes, the Warriors. If the Warriors' path to the championship involves only playing teams whose superstar, transcendent, Hall of Fame, top 12 ever guy is not there, then maybe they got a shot. But beating the Giannis-less Bucks at home and then beating the Durant-less Suns at home is not going to make me, unlike the rest of the fickle media, all of a sudden act like the Warriors are something they haven't been, which is a good team. They have been the definition this year of average. After 20 games, they were 10-10. After 20 games, they were 40 games, they were 20-20. After 60 games, they were 30-30. And here's guessing that after 80 games, they're going to be 40-40.
They're over 500 right now.
This moment they are, but unfortunately for him, they're about to go on a 5-game road trip. Can we show you their next half dozen games? Brew, let's be honest here. This is their next 6.
Yep.
5 straight on the road and then Philly. What do you think they will go on this in the 6-game stretch? Because I'm going to peg it at 2-4.
Oh no, at least 3-3, at least.
Okay.
And look, the road record is a concern. I'm not going to sit here with blinders on. Yeah, it's horrific.
Yeah.
Okay. However, again, the experience. I mean, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
But can I ask you this?
Because they've got so much championship pedigree.
I understand that, but can I ask you this question? If you're going to play and I shouldn't say play, if you're going to bring up, and I think it's valid in certain instances, the experience card, is it not just as valid as a counterpoint to say, yeah, they're emotionally spent from the championship last year? What a relief, how important it was. And you know where you see that? When they go on the road.
That's right.
When they don't have their home crowd generates for them the emotion they need, the force that they need. But when they have to generate it themselves, they are unable to. And I would argue this also, Wilds, the young players have developed, most notably Poole, and then Wiseman's gone, and Kuminga is, hurt himself, unfortunately.
But he's been okay.
He's been fine. But I think Poole's developed bad habits. And I would also argue, not to circle everything back to the punch, but Draymond acknowledged as much himself that punch removed some of his authority. Yep. So do you not think it's in play that maybe some of those bad habits that Jordan Poole, I believe, has developed, is why he's not always closing games, it's why the team seems to get frustrated with him, that Draymond could have nipped that in the bud back in December, but he lost the authority to coach the guy up, to yell at him, do whatever he does, because you can't do it to the kid you hit in the face, and that we all saw you hit in the face. For all those reasons, and for the fact that, yes, if Klay scores 35, they're unbelievable. But for whatever it's worth, 21 times in Klay Thompson's career at home, he has scored 35-plus in the regular season. They are 21-0. When he goes off at home, they never lose. So I am not going to overreact, Wilds, to yesterday's game or the Milwaukee overtime win without Giannis.
Okay. Klay this season in wins. 25 points when they win, and they lose 18. So you could argue as Klay gets hotter, the team will win. Brew, my thing about Nick's take is the team is good, and even you acknowledge they lack maybe energy, maybe focus on the road. Klay's quote after the game, I think we're going to do it with these next 5 games. It's our time. I don't know why you don't subscribe to the flip a switch philosophy that they're champions. Yeah, maybe they were coasting a little bit, but now that they're ready to start playing.
Look, I don't think this would be the equivalent of flipping switch. I mean, they've been horrible. They even if they're lollygagging on the road, they should have more than 7 wins. But I do think, like I said, I think they'll at least go 3-3, Nick. If they don't go 3-3, it will be a bit. It will be concerning.
Okay, and you know what?
Some of those teams, they got Houston.
They have Atlanta. We could show it again.
Timberwolves. Houston, Atlanta are too easy.
Well, Atlanta's fighting for the playoff lives, but they should beat them. Houston is a disaster. Memphis without Ja.
Right.
Dallas, which is playing terribly right now. And then the Clippers tomorrow. So I'll meet you halfway in this regard. You said if they don't go at least 3-3, you'll be concerned. If they win Wednesday, I'll be impressed. Assuming Kawhi plays, and I don't know why he wouldn't. But if they go, because
that would be an impressive
they and
win,
the Clippers are tied right now for the 5 spot. Mm-hmm. I believe that when the playoffs begin, when the play-in begins, the Warriors are going to be in the play-in. I think the Lakers and the Mavs are going to jump over them because I don't believe the Warriors can win consistently on the road. And when we say flip a switch, it should be noted historically, we've never seen a team, champion or not, go from where they are right now in the standings in the regular season to then flip a switch and win the title. We did see the Rockets as a 6 seed, but they added Clyde Drexler mid-year, so it was kind of a difference. The Warriors didn't add a major piece mid-season. When we talk about the Lakers in 2001 or 02 flipping a switch, what that means is they were playing like a 50-win team when we knew they could be a 65-win team, not a team that has been hovering at 500 all year.
Let me show you one thing. This graphic, Nick, they've got their starting 5. Now, they got to get Wiggins back. We didn't even mention Andrew Wiggins.
I don't know if that's...
The starting 5 of the Warriors, that's Looney. You see it up there. Number 1 offensive rating, number 1 net rating. They're beating teams by an average of 22 points a game with that starting 5, and the defense obviously top 10.
Have you seen what Steph and Kerr have said? It looks like Wiggins might be gone for the year.
I don't think, honestly, without Wiggins, I don't think they can't win it. Because there was talk. I mean, Steph was clearly the Finals MVP, but Wiggins was right there for a while.
Was critical.
So they do need him for defense
and you're right. We should have mentioned it. I don't anticipate that he's coming back. I don't know what he's dealing with. No. Yeah. But Colin said on his show today that he heard from someone that they are not optimistic that he's coming back. It's a personal issue, and we don't know.
That hurts.
Steph had some throwback trash talk last night, saying this isn't 2014 anymore.
That is such.
Chris Paul responded after the game by saying, huh?
I know what happened.
Oh, go ahead.
The last time Chris Paul beat Steph in the playoffs.
Of course. 7-game series, yep.
I love this from Steph for 2 reasons. One, it shows that he keeps receipts. Like Jordan, like LeBron, he keeps receipts. Because sometimes you mentioned, are they spent? He's won 4 championships. Mm-hmm. You need other things to motivate you sometimes. So this is him. Going back 9 years for some motivation against Chris Paul. The other thing, Nick, and look, Steph's always been cocky. He's always been sure of himself. But I'm seeing maybe even a little cockier Steph. Since he's come back from this injury, 31 points, 50% shooting from three on 11 attempts a game.
Because they have to have
You're shooting 11 threes a game and hitting half of them? That's crazy. So I love it.
Okay, so I love this as well. My frustration with Steph years ago was actually not with Steph, it was with the media. Because they treated him as, the humble superstar. I was like, there ain't nothing humble about Steph Curry. He didn't have humble beginnings. His daddy was an NBA player. Everyone's like, because he went to Davidson. He was still a top 10 pick of the draft. And as soon as we figured out his ankles worked, we knew from that night in Madison Square Garden 11 years ago that this guy was a killer. And he carries himself like a killer, which he should. So I liked it. This also made me a little sad. Because this should have been a better rivalry. Yeah. Chris thinks he's better than Steph. He's not, but he thinks he is. I'm certain of it. Maybe not at this moment today, but that he's a better player than Steph Curry. He's always carried himself like that.
He definitely isn't.
And we saw them play each other in 2014 in a classic when Chris was on the Clippers before the Warriors started their run, back when Mark Jackson was the coach. Yep. It was Mark Jackson's last game coaching the Warriors was this series. And then because of Chris's team's shortcomings, we never got it again, really. So let's just...
But also Chris's shortcomings.
That's what I mean. No. The team... So in 2015, we would have gotten it. The Clippers were up 3-1 on the Rockets, and they blew it. In 2016 and 17, the Clippers lost to Portland. Now Chris got hurt in that series, and to Utah before they could have played them. Now, they did get to play each other in 2018 and 19 when he was with Houston, but... That's when Durant's there and Chris gets hurt in one of those series.
Or they up 3-2. Yep.
And then, now that when it would have been a fair fight, Durant's gone, Chris is on Phoenix. In 2021, Golden State misses the playoffs. Last year, what happened? They blow a 3-2 lead to Dallas, so we don't get it there either. Like, I feel like we should have gotten Chris and Steph in the playoffs in a fair fight a bunch of times. Instead, after that series, we got it 2 times, and both those times, Chris and Steph were kind of the second best guys on their own team.
Well, there was a year when Durant got hurt.
Got hurt, but correct.
It was
but he got hurt
when he got hurt.
2-2, but he was there for most of the series.
Right.
That's right.
Too long.
What?
It's too long ago.
Too long ago? You don't like it? Receipts.
20. I mean, if Chris Paul doesn't know what you're talking about.
Well, it behooves Chris to say he doesn't know. Because he knew he didn't win. Or he actually won that time, but he knew he lost.
A regular season game in March?
No, he was playing dumb. I think he was playing dumb. He didn't know exactly, maybe, but he knew Steph got the best of me, probably.
Isn't this a version of the same tentacle of trash talk that Luka was talking about with Devin Booker? When Luka's like, you wait till you're up to talk. Where Luka essentially was saying, until you beat me in the postseason, you don't get to talk. The fact that Steph Curry is saying, it's not like Chris has not beaten him since then. He's saying, it's been a decade since you beat me when it mattered. And which is what
the only difference, though, is Luka beat Devin once, right? Steph's beat Chris time and time again. So that's the difference.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.